So I'm finding products to dropship on Amazon, specifically from the supplier Zoro. And the way I demonstrated that in the previous video is that I used brands from Zoro, for instance 3M, searched the brand on Amazon, and then I used the Amazon sourcer sheet, which is a spreadsheet I made, to search the product titles and find Zoro sources for those products, or potential Zoro sources. So while that is one approach, and that can definitely work, the downside, however, is that you want, well, the downside is if the brand doesn't actually work out as a brand, then you've spent time on a brand that you can't really use on Amazon. So you want to make sure that it's a brand that you can actually sell, check the approval, make sure that they have products on the supplier and on Amazon and all of that. But it's definitely an approach that can work as you go through different brands to find products on Amazon. However, what I'm going to do in this video is use another approach where we start on Zoro in a category where we are not initially concerned with the brand. We are just scraping a bunch of products and just searching them to see if they show up on Amazon. After they show up on Amazon, or after we're able to find them, then we concern ourselves with the brand and all of that afterwards in the profit. So the first thing is just to actually get these products off of this page and to get them into this other spreadsheet, the Amazon matcher. So again, as I did in the previous video, I'll use the instant data Chrome extension to actually scrape these products. Now you can use the locate next button to try to pull more pages, as I did in the previous video. By the way, check the description in order to get a link. If you want to see the previous video that I'm referring to, I'll have a link to it. Okay, but right now what I'm going to do is just continue and just download just the 36 products, because this video is really just for me to show you how this process works. Okay, so I'll download just that one page, and then I'm going to go over to the Amazon matcher. I'll go to IDSCSV, and I'll simply import what I just downloaded, which is that file, that CSV. So I'll go to upload, browse, and go to downloads, right? And then I'll find Zoro and open Zoro. Okay, and then replace current sheet and import data. And that will import into the sheet. So once I import that CSV, there we have it. It's a much neater CSV than what I had scraped from Amazon in the previous video. And basically, there are two options. I mean, you could literally just copy and paste this stuff over to the supplier and Amazon data sheet. So a lot of times I get people contacting me saying, oh, they're not able to get the import to work or what have you. And basically all you need to do, if you can't get it imported, is just copy and paste. That's it. Just copy and paste. Okay. So for most suppliers, you just copy and paste. So basically the URL is in the first. However, what you really can do instead of copy and pasting is use the columns map, which I'll show you right now. So I do have a columns map set up for Zoro in here already. It is possible that it's changed over time as far as what will work. I'm going to compare right now to see. These are this is the URLs column. So I'll check that column heading and see if it matches the URLs over here. Product card image href. Product card, see, it's a little different. Image link href. So see, it can kind of change, or perhaps it can even vary. So if you're going to build a map here, you may have to just build another map, like another Zoro search page 2 or something. And what I'll do is just copy this column, which is for the URLs, this first column, over to IDS columns map and put it under URLs. Okay. For the titles, these are the titles. Copy. That's product title. IDS columns map under titles. Right. Prices. IDS CSV. Prices are found in this column. Text-H3. You can copy that. Put that here. Now, this is the process. Okay, I'll just do the brand, and then I'll say something about this in general, about this whole thing of data and getting data into the sheet. So brand name, copy that, and paste special values. Okay, so that is how you can set up the map to map the data from the instant data scraper CSV using this columns map. Okay, and to get it onto your supplier, into the supplier and Amazon page. So now that I've done that, I'll just select the map name here, which is Zoro search page 2. It's the last one that I just added, so it's at the bottom. And I will simply click on import instant data scraper CSV, and it should be able to import that data. Now, one thing I do want to say is I do realize I've made these spreadsheets a few years ago, and so instant data scraper was the way. That was like the main way that I was getting data off of various websites, and it still is, because it's a Chrome extension that uses AI, and it's able to basically adapt and pull data off of various websites. However, as you can see, the data that we get tends to be a bit, I'd use the word messy. It can be a bit messy, and you know, of course, you do have to potentially map the columns a lot and things like that. And so there are basically other options that I have now, things like browser automation. These are things I didn't have a few years ago. So although right now I'm using instant data scraper, there are going to be more options. I can create browser automations to do this. I've done it for Amazon, you know, for various websites. So for some of the major sites, you might not have to keep dependent on instant data scraper for some of these major sites that are used a lot, like Zoro or Amazon. Okay, just wanted to point that out to you. So now we'll wait for the prices to show up, because if I create an automation specifically for Zoro, you're going to get much cleaner results, because it's going to be made specifically to Zoro. You will literally only have brand name, title, URL, price, and it will be a lot neater than this, right? And you won't even have to map it really. It should be, you know, in a format where you probably could just copy it and paste it over here instantly, right? So just want to point that out to you. Now at this point, I mean, the prices do take the longest to come in with this import process. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just start matching, because I can do that with the titles, right? So I'm going to click Find Amazon Products from this top row, start finding Amazon URLs. By the way, set the region. That determines the domain that it will try to find it for. So I'm using Amazon.com, and I have a drop down with some various countries that you can select. So now it finds potential matches. Now, basically, you've got to, this is a manual process. I know it seems quite automated. There are automated parts to this. It's searching search engines for you automatically, but you still have to do manual inspection. So this is basically a manual product research process that is just being enhanced by an automated search process on a spreadsheet, right? And also being organized into a list, right? Because if you were just on Zoro, if you go to Zoro and you just search for these, you don't have them in a list where you can really keep track, right? So having them in a list is the main benefit of this, is that it's a list that you can keep track of, right? The other thing is that it's automatically searching to find matches, potential matches, right? But you've still got to manually investigate them, right? So I've got to look at this one and that one and see if they're even the same product, okay? And the brand is going to be a big part of that, right? Craftsman. I see that they're both Craftsman on Zoro and on Amazon, right? That's going to be a good start, right? The name, obviously, the name's VersaStack Storage Organizer. We have those two names in common. Obviously, the image, looking at the two products, determining how similar they are. Are they the same product? One thing with Amazon, though, is whether or not their images are up to date and all of that. So, I mean, things like a MF, you know, these numbers can help a lot as well, right? Like model numbers or, manufacturer numbers. CMST 17828, CMST 17817. Oh, it's a little different. Okay, so might not be the same, right? Or I might even want to check the different variations for it as well. So there's all these different things that you can look at as you're comparing products if you compare them manually. Now, rather than going through every product and comparing it manually one by one, typically, which you will have to still do that at some point. Typically what I do rather is I go ahead and I start pulling in the Amazon data right away. Because once I pull in this Amazon data on this side, it will calculate the potential profit. And if those products are a match, then I will be able to see the ones that are actually profitable. So instead of going through all of them, I'll just kind of focus on the ones where the price difference is coming up, right? And then I'll check those to see if they're a match. So basically, now to get the Amazon product data, you can use a browser automation. Oh, luckily I do have it open right now. Or you can use Keepa if you have Keepa software. The browser automation on Automa, this is the free option. It's a free platform for running browser automations. And for this automation that comes, I distribute this automation with the spreadsheet as a file. You'll just run the trigger on it, and you'll put the spreadsheet URL and the spreadsheet ID. But actually, what you should do is you go to the trigger, parameters, and you set these two. Okay, so I'll set the URL in there. Okay, and the spreadsheet ID as well, which comes from inside of this URL in between this section. I'll copy that and paste it over as a spreadsheet ID. Okay, save it. And then from there, I can just run the trigger. It will start by default on row 6. It's already set for the Amazon Matcher, the version 3.7 and now 3.8. And I'll just run it over these ASINs. Now, this actually works inside the browser, and I won't run the whole thing necessarily right now, but I'll just kind of start the process so you can see. So it actually opens it in the browser. For one, you'll see right now it's open in the spreadsheet over here. And what it's doing is it's going right over to the Amazon URL. And basically, it's then going to open that product on Amazon and pull the data and bring that data back over here to the Amazon Matcher. So once it does that, and it will go through row by row, then you'll really have more to work with, right? So that's basically the process. Okay. Now, right now, I've got kind of a slowdown thing happening. So it's a bit slower than usual at this moment. But, and maybe there was an error. So let me see what happened here. Oh, because I was dragging the tab. Okay, yeah. So when you run something, well, it's a good point. When you run this kind of automation, it's best to run it on a browser that you're not using, right? And let it just kind of run by itself. I often run them on a separate computer. So I'll kind of work on one computer. I'll do my live work on one computer, and I'll have another computer that is off on the side that just kind of runs browser automation, right? So that way I'm not ever interrupting it. So this is probably not like the ideal setup I would have to do this because I'm actually working right now, right? But once you do that, it will pull in the data. I'm going to go ahead and run this again because I would like you to see that process. So it is running the spreadsheet over here in the corner, and I guess I'll just have to wait for that. But if it takes too long, I won't bother with it right now. But I did want you to see that. Otherwise, I'll do it in a follow-up video. Okay, so now it is opening on Amazon. And let's see. So perhaps that first URL wasn't so good. I'm not sure why Facebook is opening. I'll close that. Oh, because I had Facebook on the tab. So right now it's on 7, and I'll see how 7 works out. Okay, so here's an actual product being pulled. Okay. And see, I don't do anything else on this account. This is not an Amazon account that I even use. Except to do automations, actually. So that's even a good idea. You know, to, kind of separate everything. But all I really want you to see here is to see the product data come into the Amazon Matcher sheet. So sorry for the delay in the video, but there's some things that for me to demonstrate, I have to do it realistically. And in reality, this is what it's like. And so I have to do it this way. Right? So we need to actually see the process. Okay, so it opens it in the browser. And right now it's just really slow at the moment, but it's probably has to do with my connection right now at this moment. For whatever reason. So basically, again, it's getting the data. And I really only need a few products to know what's happening. Okay, so as you can see, each time it does a product, it's going to stop. So what I'm going to do is just stop it because I'd have to just sit here and wait for it. All right, I do want you to see what happens. So when it pulls in the data, this is what we get. Right, we can see the price come in. The brand comes in as pulled from Amazon, ships from, and who sold by. So we can see if it's like FBA or is it ships from sold by Amazon. Or what, and then if we scroll over, we have profit calculations, right? Typically it's 1 unit to 1 unit, but if it's not 1 unit to 1 unit, you can like break it down for multi-packs. But for dropshipping, it's typically just one item on the ASIN, and then 15% fee, which you can change the fee to something else. For dropshipping, you won't have an FBA fee. And then we can see if there's any profit. In many products, it will not show any profit, right? It's more common that a product is not profitable. If most products were profitable, we wouldn't be, doing this. We just go on Zoro and just take every product and sell it, right? If it were that easy. It's not, right? Most products are not profitable, and that's why we have to have product research processes and sourcing. It's because products are not profitable, right? So we have to basically do a process of elimination. So once you pull in more and more Amazon product data in here, which I pulled in very little, you will begin to see some that will actually show up with the profit. So really the right way, so to speak, to use this is really to scrape a large number of product data and to bring a large number of product data into this Amazon Matcher, right? Have it find potential Amazon matches and then run the browser automation for a long time and let it really just pull all that data, and then to see which ones show up as being potentially profitable, and then navigate those products to see which ones have a profit, right? So that's basically the process. That's really it. The spreadsheet, to talk about the spreadsheet specifically, it just does what it's designed to do, which is take product titles, search them, find potential Amazon links based on what it searches and what it finds on search engines, right? The browser automation, then to pull in Amazon product data. Again, you can use Keepa to do this if you want to use paid software, but if you want to do it for free, you can use the browser automation. And that's really all it does. And then, and then it also calculates profit. It allows you to do all these profit calculations. And that's basically all that I made it to do. So really, your success depends on how you even select products, your overall process of product research, not on the spreadsheet itself, but how are you even selecting the products? Because if you go to a category that's a good category, and it's not always going to be obvious to tell, right? We don't sometimes know until we actually search the products. But if you happen to choose a category that is a good category where you can find profitable products from that supplier, then when you run the matcher, you're more likely going to find some profitable products. If you run a category that for some reason does not really have profitable products coming from Zoro to Amazon, then you're not going to when you match it, right? So the Amazon matcher is not going to create profitable products. It's just going to find matches of products, and hopefully those matches are profitable, right? That's really the idea here. So that's basically it. And okay, so that's basically it. If you want to try this spreadsheet, these two spreadsheets, you can go ahead, you can get them. I have a whole package of all these different Amazon spreadsheets. These are just the product research sheets, but then there's also sheets for like more general stuff, like just to track, if you just want to calculate profits on different products in a list, like FBA, Excel sheet, things like that. There are other things as well. Basically, that I've made for Amazon and also for eBay as well, and just in general. So basically, check the description of the video for links. If nothing else, at least get on the email list so that I can send you whatever free resources I have and keep you updated on anything else. And this is basically the process. Again, going from supplier and then searching the category products, using the matcher, finding those products on Amazon. So, and again, there was a previous video where I went in the opposite direction using the Amazon sourcer. So check the description for a link to go back to that previous video. So once you watch a video like this, or any video of mine, you really need to go through the description to understand what's going on, to see if I had a previous video or a following video or whatever. Okay, and that's basically it. So that's about it. Comments, questions, or suggestions, you can just leave them below. This is Mr. Mark.